right, our top focus. In a major development in the 2019 Hyderabad encounter case, the Supreme Court appointed committee has debunked the police version of the incident. It said that the police version is unbelievable and not backed by evidence. It further has recommended that all 10 police officers be booked for murder in killing of 4 rape and murder accused. The Supreme Court panel said that the accused were deliberately fired upon with an intent to cause their death. This comes in the backdrop of the encounter killings of 4 accused in a case of gang rape and murder of a 26-year-old veterinarian in Hyderabad. All right, for more on this, I'm joined by Meenakshi on the broadcast. Meenakshi, thank you for joining us. I still remember when this encounter took place, there was this very scary pattern of people celebrating this instant model of justice, people celebrating the encounter, and a lot of questions were raised back then. And today, the Supreme Court panel, the panel that led the probe in this case, has openly said that the encounter was fake and has accused those 10 police officers of extrajudicial killings.
Well, absolutely, Archana. You see, we are a democracy. We have a viable constitution. We believe in the rule of law, which means that the accused have a right to trial. They are supposed to be found guilty or not in a court of law. The police is the investigating agency. The police is the prosecutor. The police is not vested with the task of killing the accused it's not a vigilante justice system that India subscribes to, basically. And that is why this Hyderabad police's role is become indefensible today. Why we call it indefensible very responsibly here on Mirror Now is because we are in possession of this 384-page report of Justice Sirpurkar, which was set up by the Supreme Court itself to fact-find and probe this particular incident. And he is a former Supreme Court judge who has submitted this detailed 387-page report with scathing indictment of Hyderabad police, like you were just mentioning. This report also talks about how those 4 accused in the Disha case, out of the 4, 3 were minors who were shot down or gunned down. And this report talks about the invocation of the murder charge against these 10 police officers. So it is a damning indictment basically by the Supreme Court appointed committee, which was headed by a former retired Supreme Court judge. Archana, as you were referring to that particular aspect, we will bring to our viewers this particular quote from the report where the committee is saying, and I quote, "They were deliberately fired upon with intent to cause their death and with knowledge that the firing would invariably result in death," unquote. So for a murder charge, these 2 factors or ingredients have to be met. One is mens rea, which is guilty mind, and the other thing is premeditated intent to kill. In this case, the committee says these police officers had both those ingredients when they were carrying out that incident of killing those accused, which falls under the category of extrajudicial killings. So a guilty mind with the intention to kill, with the knowledge that such shooting would result in their death, both ingredients of murder is attracted, and therefore this committee says that a murder charge should be attracted against these 10 police officers. And that's very damaging, Archana, because it brings back into focus the role of police, the relationship a police is supposed to have with the accused,
yes,
and really basically the contours of police duty itself. And that is why, we have been focusing on Mirror Now at this report, the nature of the report, and the impact going forward. Remember, the Supreme Court in the foreseeable future will pass directions on this. There are several other directions the Supreme Court has passed with regards to police reforms. Those reforms are not being implemented on ground.
Yes.
Those reforms are being ignored oftentimes. But again, the time is perhaps opportune and right for a new impetus to be given to police reforms in India. And this case really is all, giving that impetus for the Supreme Court to perhaps intervene aggressively again
yes,
in this particular issue.
Absolutely. And another important thing, Meenakshi, is that not only did the Supreme Court made this report public, public, but it also rejected the demand of the Telangana government that did not want this report to be made public and instead wanted it in a sealed cover.
Well, that's right. It is in the interest of larger public good, and this is something which really brings to light this particular fact-finding committee's detailed, reasoning why it has arrived at this conclusion. And in the interest of transparency and larger public good, larger public welfare, the Supreme Court has deemed it fair and opportune to bring out the contents of this report in public. And like we were just saying and discussing, Archana, this really gives a fresh impetus for the need for greater police reforms in India, because like we have been highlighting, this is a country which is governed by the rule of law.
Yes.
Remember, this is a country where the Supreme Court even appointed counsel for Ajmal Kasab to be represented in Supreme Court, and senior counsels represented Kasab before the Supreme Court. This is a country where the accused get a midnight hearing. Those people who have been convicted for death sentence, the Supreme Court opens its gate in the middle of the night to hear mercy petitions, like we have seen in the Nirbhaya case earlier, and also other cases where the Supreme Court has sat throughout the night to decide the fate of death row convicts. So that is the import of rule of law. And here we have a case where the police officers have now been indicted for shooting down accused, 3 of which minor, in a case where the accused did not even get right to trial.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for those very important points and the takeaways of the Supreme Court panel on the 2019 Hyderabad encounter case. I'm also joined by a special guest on the broadcast, Arvind Jain, who's former DGP, Uttar Pradesh. So thank you so much for making time and speaking to Mirror Now. This is a story that we wanted to take forward because while the Telangana government wanted to keep it confidential and wanted to keep it in a sealed cover, the Supreme Court made it public. It talks about the extrajudicial killing and fake encounter. What is your view when such stories come to light? Because I remember when this encounter happened, whether you talk to people, whether on social media, there was this wave of celebration of instant justice when these people were shot down. A lot of people celebrated this. What is your view of this Supreme Court panel findings?
People celebrated because in India, there is inordinate delay in getting justice. I don't think for another 15, 20 years, case would have reached Supreme Court or judgment or at judgment stage. So naturally, public wants, in such cases, they want immediate results. They want that drastic action should be taken against such heinous crimes, in such heinous crimes in which I was told later on that these accused had committed 5, 6 such murders and rapes earlier also. So there was a lot of anger. There was a lot of anger in the society. There was a lot of anger in the people. And I don't know the facts of the case, but if commission has come to the conclusion, inference that it's a fake encounter, then it's a sad day. It's a sad day for the police, and they will have to face murder charges. But in my opinion, this case is not going to end up in conviction, because I have not read the report of the commission, but I will have to see how many independent witnesses are there of public who have deposed against the police, because that is to be seen. Today, some family members of the accused might have deposed against the police, but how many independent witnesses have come forward and they have deposed? That should be looked into. And I don't agree with this point which is being highlighted, that there were 3 minors. If those 3 minors were capable of committing rape, murder, burning a lady openly, so if they can do that, then they have no right. Then they have no right as a minor, in my opinion. I agree with you that reforms in Indian police is still being governed from 1861 Police Act, and there is this was just after mutiny of 1857 that Police Act was promulgated. for the Indian police, and it's high time that we should change it. Now things are different. This is 2022, and you can't be governed with the Police Act of 1861. Supreme Court itself has given judgment, 5 judges bench headed by Chief Justice for police reforms, which none of the states has implemented. So it's high time that those police reforms should also be implemented, because police comes under a lot of public pressure when such ghastly crimes take place, and at times they go out of the way to appease public sentiment, which if it is a fake encounter, then it should not have been done, in my opinion.
All right. And Mr. Jain, you briefly touched upon reforming the police, because there has been this conversation several times how, the men in khaki and the people who don that uniform often violate laws, and they are under lens for, these kind of activities. What, in your view, should be done immediately so that those who are given the job, those who are tasked with ensuring law and order, do not violate these norms?
Number one, all the vacancies of the police force, it should be filled. It should be filled on immediate basis. There are lakhs of vacancies in Indian police all over the country, and naturally it puts a lot of pressure on the existing policemen to maintain law and order. Number two, they should be given proper training. In-service programs should be there for training the Jawans, the sub-inspectors, the cutting-edge level of police. There should be, there has been a demand of latest forensic science laboratories, so that they can get results very, very quickly of the materials which are sent for examination to forensic science laboratory. So many things are required. So many.
Okay.
Pardon? Yes, and police should get more and more of resources, vehicles, wireless sets. There are so many things for which recommendations have gone from the state governments to central government for central aid, or to the state government, which require to be filled.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to Mirror Now on this very critical issue.
Thank you.